Hello and welcome to Home with Sarah Jane. Today I wanted to share with you what our favorite read out louds were for this school year. So the first one that I have is Harry Potter, and we actually enjoyed every single one of these books. We are currently in the last one and are enjoying it. These are definitely something I know we'd read again. We have listened to some of them on Audible as well, and we really enjoy them on audiobooks. So they were just a really good series. Roman Diary. This one was a good book as well. This was about a little girl that was traveling from Greece to Egypt, but she ends up getting captured and sold as a Roman slave. So yeah, this one was kind of just about her experiences. My kids really enjoyed this one. It was age appropriate, I'd say. So this one was a really good one. The Story of Dr. Dolittle. I never read this as a child. I was actually really excited to read this one, and I really liked it. It was a really funny book. My kids love animals, so this was just a lot of fun for us. This was kind of to fill in some of the heavier reads. Like sometimes I'll read books that they're sad, and then I read another book and it's sad, and then I read another book and it's sad, and I try not to do that too much, so I kind of threw this one in, you know, for fun. Another book that we really enjoyed, another book that we really enjoyed was The Family Under the Bridge. This one was a very sweet book. I would probably read this one again on my own. This was basically just about an old man who lived under a bridge, who found children that were living under the same bridge, and how he doesn't like children, but then grows to love the children. So this was a very, very, very good book. The Year of Miss Agnes. My kids really enjoyed this one as well. This one, I didn't really know what to expect. It was about a school teacher in Alaska and how the kids were worried about how none of their teachers ever last more than a year, if they even make the full school year. So they were just kind of afraid that, you know, they were going to fall in love with this teacher and then she was going to just leave and, you know, not come back. Escape by Night, a Civil War adventure. Now this one my kids really enjoyed. Me personally, I thought it was okay. Like, I wouldn't have put this on my favorites list, but when I asked my kids to name some of their favorite books from this year, this was one of them that they named. So this one is just about a little boy and his sister who are pretty much intrigued by the new soldiers that are arriving in their hometown. And they find out that one of these soldiers that's injured is actually a Yankee soldier hiding in the South. So now he has to make the choice of, this young boy needs to make the choice of, do I tell somebody that he's a Yankee or do I help him escape? So this one, I mean, it was good. Like I said, it was good. It was just, I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite. Numbering All the Bones. This one, I would say, is for a little bit older children. You have to remember my kids are 13 and almost 10. So this one was a really good read. But it was really challenging to hear about some of the situations that people were put into. So this was basically about a girl that is a house servant, and her father is actually the owner of the plantation, and her mother was a slave. So, and it was about her struggles and her family and what she needs to do. 40 Acres and Maybe a Mule. This one was very good as well. It's basically about ex-slaves and or a family of ex-slaves that are trying to build up their lives and get their own land and basically just try and start a life for themselves, and the struggles that they have to go through during the Reconstruction after the Civil War. Sounder. Sounder was another one that we really enjoyed, and with this one we did watch the movie as well. I think we watched the movie from the 70s though. I think we watched the older movie. So this one was really good. It's basically about how this boy's father goes out hunting with their great coon dog, and just to put food on the table basically. And one day his father is arrested, and the boy now has to take care of this dog. And it's about the struggles of this family while his father is imprisoned. We also read Amos Fortune Freeman and really enjoyed this one as well. Again, this one is about Amos Fortune, who was actually the son of a king in Africa, and he was stolen from his home when he was 15 years old and sold in America as a slave. And it's just basically about how this man is trying to gain his freedom and then help gain the freedom of other slaves. Now this one was an extremely silly book. It's called The Great Turkey Walk. We read this in November around Thanksgiving, and this one was just a super fun read. The Great Turkey Walk is about a 15-year-old boy who basically struggles in school. It even says on the back here that he is repeating the 3rd grade for the 4th time. And basically he realizes that school is not for him and that he needs to come up with another plan on how he intends to basically take care of himself. So he buys a whole bunch of turkeys and he decides he's going to walk them from Missouri to Denver to try and make a profit. It has a lot of little silly situations in it, and my kids really enjoyed this one. This one was called Wings Like a Dove, The Courage of the Queen. So this one, I was kind of surprised my kids chose this one. I didn't realize that they enjoyed this one so much. Not that it was a bad book. It was a very good book, and it was about this woman's struggles. It was about this woman struggling between, you know, the new religion and, you know, the religion in the kingdom and things like that. So I was just really surprised that my kids chose this one as one of their favorites. But again, it was a very good read, and the situations in this one, there was silliness, but then there was, you know, harshness as well. So it was just about making a lot of different choices between right and wrong. Another silly book we read was called The Whipping Boy. This one my kids really enjoyed as well. This one is a very short read. Like, I think we maybe read this one in 2 days. But so this one is about a poor boy living on the streets that is now living in the castle as the whipping boy. He has to bear the punishment of Prince Brat. So when Prince Brat basically gets in trouble, the whipping boy has to take the punishment for him. So, and it's just about, you know, some silliness and how they get themselves into a hostage situation after running away and stuff like that. Okay, so another one that we read was Dear Mr. Henshaw. This one, I didn't even know what to expect. It was on a reading list that was recommended that I found on, I think, like Pinterest, honestly. And so I was like, oh, I found this book for 50 cents. I'll give it a try. So this one is about a boy in the 6th grade who lives with his mother. And he is the new kid in school. And basically he starts, like writing to an author and stuff like that. And it's just about kind of the struggles that he goes through within his family. There's also a second one to this story as well. It's called Strider. I'll insert a picture. So basically, yeah, it's about a boy that chooses to write letters to this author and how Mr. Henshaw surprisingly answers his letters and changes his life. So that's pretty much the gist of that one. Now, another one that we really enjoyed. This one was a pretty long read. This is called The Story That Cannot Be Told. So The Story That Cannot Be Told, this one is about a little girl who's always loved storytelling and hearing about different stories, but she lives in Romania's communist government, basically, lives throughout Romania's communist government, and her uncle, who published some stories and stuff like that, all of a sudden went missing. And fearing for her safety, her parents sent her away off to her grandparents to go live there. And it's just about all the struggles during this, you know, during this time frame in Romania. This is definitely a long read, and it is a very heavy read. Now this one is The Girl Who Drank the Moon. This one was my kids' absolute favorite this year, other than the Harry Potter series. My kids love this book. I thought this was a really well written book. I love this book as well. It was very good. This one is basically about how every year the people of the Protectorate have to leave a baby as an offering to the witch who lives in the forest to keep her from terrorizing their town. So, but then it goes through the ins and outs of this witch, this child, and this town. And then you really have to decide, you know, who was the people, you know, doing wrong. Was it really the witch? Was it, you know, the people of the Protectorate? So it was just this one was a really good read. So those are what I read to my kids together. Now, my youngest daughter and I decided to read some books together as well because there was a lot of like classics and stuff like that that I had already read to my oldest daughter when she was younger. And I wanted to make sure that my oldest daughter was also going to have, you know, that experience as well. So I had her pick her favorites from what we read together. And her favorites were The Bear on Hemlock Mountain. And this one is basically just about a little boy that has to go over Hemlock Mountain to go and fetch something for his mother. And just his little adventure there. This one is Nim's Island. My youngest daughter enjoyed this one. We did watch the movie as well, but she said that she liked the book better. So this one was basically just about a little girl named Nim who lives on an island with her father. Her father's a scientist, and he goes off and he sails one day, and he just doesn't return. And now she's waiting for him, and you do have to read to see what happens to her dad, but she tries to figure out what's going on while she's alone on this island. And she's just a little girl. I can't remember how old she was, but she was still pretty young to be left alone on an island. We also read Black Beauty. My youngest daughter really enjoyed this book. We read this one pretty quickly. Again, she loves animals. I mean, if you don't know the story of Black Beauty, it's just about this horse and the experiences of this horse's life. We did not, I can't remember. I don't think we watched the movie. No, we didn't watch the movie with this one. I was actually trying to find a copy of it so that we could watch it. Now, these next two, my oldest daughter did kind of sit in on these next two, just kind of in and out. But she's already read Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So this one, you know, she was in and out listening to it. We really enjoyed this one. Of course, we watched both versions of the movie. It was really, really just a good story. And it was nice to see the differences in the book and then in the movies. And then to go along with that one, we also read Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. I never knew that this book even existed. I didn't realize that there was a sequel to it. Now, would I say that this one is better than this one? In my opinion, no. This one is still good. It's just we enjoyed Charlie and the Chocolate Factory better. But my youngest daughter said that she still wanted to put this on her list of favorites because she loves seeing what happened to some of the characters after. This literally picks up right after this one. So there's like no, you know, delay in the story. So it was good. It was funny. It was just really silly. Another one my youngest daughter enjoyed was Socks. This was actually one of the first Beverly Cleary books that I read to her that she really enjoyed. Not that she didn't enjoy Beverly Cleary, it's just she was really young when she heard me reading them to my oldest daughter, so she never really got into them. But this one about Socks the mischievous cat was one of her favorites. This was one that she actually asked me if she can read on her own, again because she liked it so much. And it's basically just about this cat that this family adopts, and then a new baby arrives and the cat gets kind of jealous of this baby. Of course, if we're going to be talking about classics, Charlotte's Web. We did watch the movie with this one as well. My daughter really enjoyed this one. I mean, I don't know what else to really say about Charlotte's Web. Everybody pretty much knows it's about the spider and this, you know, a pig and this little girl. So after Charlotte's Web, I decided to read The Trumpet of the Swan. There is a cartoon movie that you can watch with this one as well, which my daughter really enjoyed watching the movie as well. She thought it was hilarious, especially the dad in the movie, the swan dad. But this one was also a really good book about the swan and how he doesn't have a voice, and that's why he has this trumpet. So yeah, this one was just a sweet little story. Funny, sad, you know, adventurous. Now, the last of the books are the Sarah Plain and Tall series. So we read Sarah Plain and Tall, Skylark, Caleb's Story, More Perfect Than the Moon, and Grandfather's Dance. These books were really good. My daughter did say that Sarah Plain and Tall, the first one, was not her favorite. She really enjoyed, she really enjoyed Caleb's Story, More Perfect Than the Moon, and Grandfather's Dance. Those were her three favorites out of these. But it's basically going throughout this family's journey to each other and what it's like to live on the prairie. So they're really short books too. So, you know, they're not very long. Pretty short reads. We read all 5 of these books in less than a month. Again, they are very short. I mean, even if you look at them all together, like they're not very thick stories. So she did really enjoy these. And I enjoyed reading them to her because I had never read beyond the first one. So this was kind of like a new experience for me as well, reading these other 4. So those were our favorite read out louds for this year. We are currently working on The Last Harry Potter, which again, we are really enjoying. So that is it. Thank you so much for stopping by. You have a great day. Bye.